join me in welcoming tonight's speaker, Kayle Arneson.
All right. Horrible work. Okay. Oh, you too. Oh.
I would like to start by saying how honored I am to be this year's class speaker. It really gave me a moment to pause and think about how the last 4 years have gone. As some of you know already, my name is Kayle Arneson and I work at K&N Electric Motors. And before I get to where I am today, I would like to give you a background look at how I got here today. 5 years ago, I was working on a small farm in Deer Park, Washington, which is about 20 miles out of Spokane. I was going through high school with no idea what I wanted to do. I was asked a million times of what I wanted to go into, what college I was pick, and I'm sure like all of you, you had the same questions. I did not have a single answer to that for the entirety of my high school career. Essentially, I tried my best to set myself up with an AA degree, so I was doing Running Start classes, I was doing college in the classroom, all at Spokane Community College. However, there was a day where my stepdad came home, and he had told me that he knew somebody looking for a machinist apprentice. And what really caught me, even though I didn't know what a machinist was, I didn't know what apprenticeships were at all. They had never even discussed that. I knew that I would never be out of a job, and I would have skills that I would always be able to use. To put it simply, my boss had hired me on before I'd walked with my graduating class. He had also hired, of course, the first female on the shop floor, and gave me the biggest opportunity of my life. And I think will always continue to be the biggest opportunity of my life because I always get to carry that with me. I wish more schools gave information about apprenticeships. They did not teach that, and even when it came to graduation, they would not acknowledge what I had accepted. They had always acknowledged the people going to college, going to universities, people who would have student debt forever. They refused to acknowledge me. No matter how many times I had asked, I think it was about 10 times she said no across the counter. I would always 100% recommend apprenticeships. Whoever I had talked to, I would always recommend it because it is so beneficial for everybody. It's not just the apprentices, it's also the mentors, it's the industry. Everybody benefits from it, and you're not paying it off for 20 to 40 years. Where the real fun began was my second day at K&N Electric. They had me help film a commercial with PBS and for AJAC, and my nickname was Hollywood for the next 3 weeks. It's actually, in the video, you'd see it painted on my toolbox because I didn't know how I wanted to customize my toolbox, and that really stuck with me. No one was very excited at first. I would constantly hear how quite a few were not excited about a female starting, but it wasn't long before I had won them over, whether it was baked goods or proving them wrong. I was absolutely terrified to even clean the machines, press a button, it might explode, I don't know. So I was just terrified to just clean anything on it. I didn't know what I was doing, I had no idea why I was gonna be there. I had such a big support group though. And growing up around my dad, who was a heavy diesel mechanic, he always ranted about how to teach me how to wire weld when I was 2. I had already kind of been a part of a mechanical background, and I just loved getting my hands dirty. I had to learn really quickly as a female that I had to be smarter, because clearly I physically was not going to beat them. I had to be smarter in a sense that I could do it. And luckily that I had people always in my corner telling me and cheering me on, because without them, I don't know what I would do. K&N has just so much support, and so is my family. They have just always been there for me in the times of good and bad. Over time, I learned various machining technologies and how to operate a variety of machines. So much so that the machine started to grow a personality. Just like a car and getting a new car. It only took a little while to learn that it always needed oil. It might not always do what you want it to. And it might complain when you push it too hard. The machines were the same way. And I believe it made me a much better machinist knowing how every single machine ran and operated. The other thing that made me a better machinist was telling the mechanics I could fix it because their bigger hammer did not work. Between AJAC's teaching and hands-on training at K&N, I've done a lot of work, from little itty-bitty parts that are really difficult to measure. I also, 2 years in, had worked on a 70-ton crane drum that was 15 feet long and 40 inches in diameter and took me a year to machine. All of the machines I run are manual. There is not a single CNC controller on them. I very much so love it, and I'm very proud to be running manuals. If I were given the choice, I would absolutely pick manual. It's a better feel and just a different experience. Even though CNCs can do amazing things, I would always pick a manual. And especially, I can see the work that I can do with my hands. We need to keep training and inspiring. No one realizes the work that it takes to get here or what the outcomes are. Just in my line of work, I can help put food on the table by keeping pumps running. I keep the lights on by repairing the damn parts. And Aaron, you were supposed to catch that when you reviewed. And I help keep the industry running because everyone uses electric motors. We all play a big part as though we're little pieces to a giant puzzle. This is why I want to keep doing what I'm doing, and I want others to see what I'm doing and wish that they could do it as well. Eventually, I would love to see myself in a higher position after honing my skills a little bit more. I will say, however, I would be much more happy to share my skills and keep the industry running. I will always support the skilled trades because those are the ones that get the job done. We will be the ones to carry on the industry, put the food on the table, keeping the lights on. Without our skills, nothing can be made or repaired. I will always appreciate our mentors for choosing to lead because we wouldn't be here today without them. We also probably wouldn't be here without our supporters. And I don't know what I would be without my family or my K&N family. For my last words, I would like everyone to remember that we are the leaders of tomorrow. And I am proud to be part of the class graduating in 2026.